Welcome back to Flyover State of Fear. Jusef, do you know what time it is? It's
I don't
time
know
for
what
us to finish the
pretend that we.
story.
Oh, we're gonna finish. I thought you were saying it's time to pretend that we watched wrestling.
Oh, so
Um,
much wrestling. I really, our
Constellation.
viewers should know that I really tricked Jusef into watching 8 hours of wrestling
Yeah, that was
unknowingly.
awesome.
I was real,
It was
I
fun.
was real kind of like, oh, whatever. Maybe at the end we'll just kind of like watch WrestleMania and have a fun episode about it. About more current wrestling or whatever, and then it was like, oh yeah, it's 2 nights and it's fucking 8 hours. It's
8 hours
so much.
is a
I didn't
lot.
even know. I thought it was like 8 to 11. I didn't know it started all the way at 7 on
Yeah, it was.
Saturday. I
It
was
was a
like,
lot.
oh shit. I was barely waking up from a little nap. I was like, I need to catch me a little nap. I'm gonna watch all this wrestling.
Yeah. No, I completely forgot about. Not forgot, but we were watching. I think we were watching a movie. We had rented a movie, and I was gonna tweet something about the movie, and suddenly you had tagged me on now watching. I was like, well, I'm definitely not gonna watch it today. So it ended
Well,
up
God bless
being
Peacock though for having it
yes.
available for replay immediately. It's right there for you.
I watched everything on Sunday. I started like I did a barbecue and the wife like watched almost all of it with me. Especially the Rock match. She was really interested in that one and the final match because she wanted to see how the consequences of Saturday would play out on Sunday.
Oh sure, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. We'll have a lot to talk
but
about. Some
yeah,
people pulling double duty this weekend.
pulling double duty, especially like I feel bad for Seth. That was rough. Steph and Becky, that household just took
They had a
L's.
rough go of it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know
So
if you know, she wrote a book. I don't know if you know that
oh,
because they
did
were
she?
very vague about it during the broadcast. But I
Yeah,
wanted
who
you to
knew? I
know
had
she
no
wrote a book.
idea.
Yeah,
Um, no, that's classic wrestler stuff. When she was off,
yeah,
it's like she took time off to be pregnant and have a kid and stuff, and they were like, okay, well, but you can't like actually. We need you to still be producing content in that time.
yeah,
So this is when you're going to put your book out. It's time to get
yeah.
your book going. Um, I No, I just want to let anybody who's watching know this isn't going to be an in-depth analysis. This is more a casual watch. We did this series has been about documentaries, kind of from our wrestling history, and I just thought it would be fun to kind of catch up on more modern stuff. I don't know how much you watch these days. I watched like last year's WrestleMania, and I think I watched maybe SummerSlam, but I don't really like keep up regular tabs on it every week. Sometimes I'll catch a YouTube video here, but even that I think I've kind of stopped following as much. And the Twitter's been so crappy lately. I had to like
Yeah.
dump some accounts and like I just so I don't see as much of it as I used to. So that'll also keep some of these match descriptions brief because some of the people I'm just not that familiar with.
No, yeah, I've been able to keep up with it um on the periphery. Like I feel like a stalker. And the WWE's like served me a notice that I can't come too near them, so I watch them from afar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I pretty much everybody I knew except the outside of Bobby Lashley, obviously. But the Philadelphia brawl, everybody was new to me
Yeah,
except Bobby
yeah, I
Lashley.
thought that too. I was like, okay, there's a lot of guys here I'm not
Yeah,
familiar with.
and the six-man tag, like I did not know anybody except the Miz and R-Truth, which was awesome to see him have fun, and obviously Damien and his partner. Um, but but yeah, outside of that, I was
Yeah.
pretty okay knowing who and what was happening. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it
didn't, and
it
it's like I don't keep up on all the regular storylines, so it's like I kind of rely on the little interstitials to tell me what I need to know, or the announcers to tell me
and
what I need to
Peacock cut
know.
that off.
Yeah, well, Peacock puts on if because you're watching ads over that part. If you had ad
Yeah,
free or whatever, you probably. But that's yeah. Some of them you get to, for the like main event, they'll still show them or the like last. But yeah, they cut off all that stuff. They like fucking
yeah.
put ads over all that shit. And
As
then I
soon as
tried to go
like
back and watch because Peacock did have some Road to WrestleMania stuff. So I was like, oh, I'll check that out. It was like they were all hour long and they had like every little event like leading up to the match. I was like,
mm,
I can't watch all this. This is too much.
no,
So
yeah, the one that I was right, I really wanted to watch is the Bailey and Io. because they were like, and she set up this this faction, and now let's watch how she got betrayed. And it was an HEB commercial, and I was like, fuck, I wanted to see.
I want to see the betrayal.
Yeah, I want to see the betrayal. But yeah, and that one also I did not know who Naomi was or the two Asians. I knew
Oh
the
yeah.
the non
Well, yeah,
Asian
I
of
knew
the three
Asuka
of them.
obviously, and then
Yeah.
you have Kari Sane and Dakota Kai, and they're both part of that Damage Control
Yeah.
stable. Which,
Uh,
yeah, I don't.
Jade and Bianca was. I mean, we'll get there, but I
Yeah.
think Bianca fucking stole the show in that match. But yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, Jade Cargill's just playing kind of like she's playing like the
bruiser.
powerhouse role. She's
Yeah.
coming in and doing a tank bit, but yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll just get started. Starts out classic. You get the anthem. I want to give a shout out to Samantha Irvin, who was the announcer. She was real
Oh,
good.
amazing,
She does a very good job.
amazing.
She's got pipes. Um, we get a little message from Paul Triple H Levesque. I like that now that he's corporate, he's like switched over to Paul Levesque, and
Yeah.
we're in the Paul Levesque era, and I think that's very funny because it felt like knowing his name was Paul Levesque was like a secret for a long time.
Yeah. I was watching the CM Punk interview with Ariel Hawani,
hmm
and he mentions that like people call him Paul, and he's like Paul Heyman, and he's
Yeah,
like no Paul Triple H, and he's like oh Hunter.
yeah,
Like
Hunter.
he still thinks of him as Hunter, and as soon as he
Yeah,
came out, I was like, huh, that's his name.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It is like I
he's
said.
still the game.
It's yeah, and he's very Vince McMahon now, and he's got his
Yeah,
he wears his tight suits and he's got his red face. He looks like a Vince McMahon now. First match, I like the way, and they do it both nights. I love the way they're strong out of the gate. They're like the Oscars. You
yeah,
throw up best supporting right away. You get a title
yeah.
match right out of the gate, right out of the first match, something big to get you excited. They had Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. This is for the fishnet lovers in the audience.
Yeah.
Uh,
I really enjoyed that. The entrance got kind of annoying for Becky, like her reading. It was too many quotes. But I enjoy Rhea's entry. The band sucked, but her selling
yeah, I
it
want to
and
call that band was called Motionless in White.
motionless in white. They kind of suck, but her selling her entrance was
Oh
pretty
yeah.
cool. Like she was so happy and so pumped to have that shitty
She
band with
clearly
her.
loves that band, even though
Yeah,
they suck, and she's a big
yeah,
fan.
yeah. But yeah, yeah. As far as the match goes, like I really enjoyed the match, but I felt maybe it was true that Becky was truly sick. With I don't know if you knew, she had 102-degree
Yeah, I
fever.
wrote down both the two storylines for this match were Becky sick all week and
Yeah,
Rhea's bad arm.
yeah, and bad arm. Um, she sold well her bumps. Like every time Rhea got her, she really did sell the bumps. But during her offense, she looked kind of off. She looked sluggish and slow. But for the most part, like the match was fun as hell.
Yeah,
Um, I
I
really
like
loved the
Rhea's
camera
finisher,
work.
that prison trap.
Yes.
That's cool. That looks good. There's not enough. I wrote down later, and I mean we can talk about it any time, obviously, but like everybody's finisher is just a variation on somebody else's old finisher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so few really unique outside
Yeah.
of like the styles clash and shit like that. But even that has been relegated now because they don't, he doesn't do it as much because it's dangerous or whatever. And like,
Yep.
there's everything is kind of like a copy or a little derivative or a little, you know, and
I mean,
also
there's
like
so many.
finishers just don't mean what they used to.
No,
Like
not at
people are
all.
hitting them 3 and 4 times. People are kicking out of them constantly. Like
Well, Cody. I mean, obviously we're gonna jump all over the place, but I think is the best example is Cody got the finisher from one of the Usos, a spear plus the finisher of that
yeah,
guy
they did
who's
the
gonna get
spear spike
fired,
combo. Yeah,
and he kicked out of all of them. He was like,
yeah.
"Fuck this shit. I'm not."
But I like that Cody also he has the reverse of that too, where his finisher he has to ramp it up. Like he'll hit a crossroads once, that's almost like
That's not.
nothing,
Yeah.
and then in the middle of the match he'll do two, and that's like that'll get a two. That's a close two count. But you know when he
Yeah,
hits three in a row, when he pulls him up for that third one, and he hits a third crossroads,
that's
it's
the
like you got
thing.
to ramp him up, you know?
I felt bad for Roman because he did the ooh like 20 times, and every time he got kicked in the face. Saturday and Sunday. Like everybody's like screaming with you, and then you never fucking get the
You
spear.
know, you never get to nail anybody with that spear except The Rock. The Rock did take a great spear from
The
Roman.
great spear, yeah, yeah. But yeah, Becky Lynch, and it was a great opener. Fun, fast paced. It didn't um stay too long. I think it was like a 12-minute, 15-minute match.
I don't think any of the matches really overstayed. I mean, main events always are long,
Yeah, I
obviously, but
feel I'll disagree with you with the Gunther and Sammy one.
oh, okay,
That
that's
one
fair.
got a little because it was more of a slow paced match.
That's yeah, that's like the ring general aspect. Like that's
Yeah,
part of whole Gunther's whole thing is to like slow the pace and
it
be,
was
you
it was a
know,
good match. Don't get me wrong, but I did feel the length of it.
that's fair. That's
Um,
fair. I didn't feel the length of the matches, but I felt some of the matches were felt like filler. Like they, in and of themselves, didn't need to be there at all. And I think
mm,
we can. I mean, it's hard to say that about the six pack ladder match because it was for two titles. So like to be
yeah,
like this one, we didn't really need this, did we? We did need this, but
it was a lot of
we were
people,
talking off mic. Just so many bodies in this
so
one.
many people.
And when you have this many guys, like there's so much of the time is just spent with dudes like laying outside the ring waiting and then popping up and coming back in for their turn and then they do a little bit and
Yeah,
you got we got 12 guys, you got 6 teams, you got 12 guys, so you got like 8 of them are always laying on the ground outside and
yeah,
4 are actively working.
yeah,
Or like 8 of them are like throwing lame punches on the outside waiting for their turn to like run in
yeah.
and grab or run in and hit. And
Or
it's like there are spectacular moments, but there is also
yes,
just a lot of kind of like wheel spinning, you know?
exactly. I agree with you. I agree. Like I literally, that's what I wrote. I wrote way too many bodies, pretending not to know they're being set up to get jumped on. Like
Yeah,
there's a lot of moments that are super cool, in terms of like, hey, you did a cool backflip there off the ladder,
sure,
but
sure.
I'm looking at 8 people going like,
Looking like the character select screen on a on a fighting game, like
yeah, and it kind of like inching. Oh wait, I think he's gonna be short on this one. Let me
yeah.
get a little closer to it.
Hey,
But
we're just gonna be a group of 4 or 5 guys, kind of like doing a rugby scrum over here by the
yeah.
ramp, and if somebody were to happen to propel themselves through the ropes at
It
us,
would be so devastating if somebody just happened to fall on us right now.
uh,
But well, yeah. So we're moving on to that one. I enjoyed it. I loved the art truth sequence. That
I was
was
gonna say, should
so.
we got to at least like name the people who are in it, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you got DIY, which is like a DX knockoff with Tommaso
Yeah,
Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. And I don't know, is that ironic or is that legit? What is the deal with that? Is that
I think it was a tribute for that night.
okay just for that night? Okay. And I know those guys as like NXT call ups who have not done too much yet.
Yeah,
Um, and then also in that, I would say in the same vein, you got the New Catch Republic guys, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Similar, but from the UK. They're kind of almost like the NXT guys, but they're from the UK. They're
yeah. Those
that
two, I had no
branch.
clue who the fuck they were when they
I've
came
definitely
out.
heard Pete Dunne's name before. I
Yeah,
don't know about the other guy.
when they came out, I was like, yep, okay.
Again, and then we got another team of one guy I've heard of and one guy I haven't, which is Austin Theory and Grayson Walker. I
Yeah,
don't know who
they
Grayson Walker
fucking
is.
hated that though.
Yeah,
I did not know who they were. And
no,
as soon as they won, the crowd was like, "What the fuck,
yeah,
them?" And I was
they
like,
didn't
"Ooh,
like
I felt
that,
that
did they?
energy. The energy shifted real quick as soon as they because I think everybody was like, "Yeah, they're not gonna get it. They're somebody clearly is gonna wait. What? They got it?" And they started booing. I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh, this is not fun for you guys."
yeah, they were the ones who ended up winning because the Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Finn Balor were undisputed champs. So they had all belts, both sets
Yeah,
of belts. And this match was for both sets, but like you could literally win both, but you could also win one and another team
just
won
one winner.
another.
Yeah,
They were both hanging up. They were both up for grabs. So eventually,
yeah,
yes, Austin Theory and Grayson Walker win the SmackDown belts. Um, and then you got also I mentioned Judgment Day's there. Obviously, they were the champs. The New Day was there. again, with Finn Balor being part of Judgment Day, and then you got Kofi and Xavier Woods in the New Day. There's so many people here who I'm like are just middling. You're like, it sucks because like both those guys have been in title contention before and deserve higher spots on the ring than
Oh,
to just be like
100%.
a body in a match with too many bodies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Kofi and Finn easily could have like a huge rivalry for like an intercontinental or US
Yeah.
title or whatever the fuck.
And it's like you got teams that are just made up of failed attempts at single stars or like coming and then also or like a failed attempt with an upcoming attempt at a single star kind of mashed
Yeah,
together. Um and then to finish it out we got Awesome Truth, which was Miz and R-Truth. Always fun to see R-Truth still kicking it. It's like people always talking about, you know, oh, The Rock's coming back, and oh, look at John Cena. And I was like, fucking R-Truth's been just out here just being in the
yeah,
WWE all the time. They leave, come back. He's like their same age.
yeah, yeah. I feel like he's just like one of those characters that I mean, obviously they're miles and continents apart, but like a Mick Foley, and where like you're just happy to see him. Like he has such a
Yeah.
happy energy to just like I really enjoy being in the ring, and I really enjoy
You
doing
know,
some
he
flips.
appreciates his spot and he's never
Yeah,
taken it for granted. And you know what I mean? He's like, nope, I'm happy to be here. Um, yeah, and they end up winning the Raw titles. And yeah, this was a pretty by the numbers ladder match, right? I mean, there's
yeah,
ladders, there's tables. We actually kind of see a lot of this, you know, because there's a ladder match the next night too, or
yeah.
maybe it's not ladders, but they're using a
Well,
lot of tables. It's kind of
yeah,
both. Like
it's
this is the only ladder match, you're
hardcore.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but it was like again fine, but again a lot. It felt like a lot of filler, you know, and maybe it's because I'm not connected to some of these teams very much, so I didn't get a lot
No,
out of that.
it's
But
because I think it truly was a lot too much at the same time.
yeah,
And obviously, like I feel like maybe it happened before, but even I felt that way. Didn't fully felt that way, but at the same time, I was like, "Ooh, there's a lot to keep track of." When like that huge famous fight between Edge, the Dudleys, and the Hardy
oh
Boys,
sure,
like
sure, and that was only
that
three
was
teams.
yeah, and even I was like, the camera cannot keep up with like the different stuff that was happening. So now they doubled it, and it got to the point where I was like, okay, that's just way too much, and you could feel the tension in the crowd when Austin's Theory almost got the second pair of belts. I was like, damn, they're gonna double down on it.
This place is gonna burn.
Yeah,
Like,
that was funny. But yeah,
um,
I acknowledge there were some fun moments, but for the most part, the match was mid.
yeah, nothing like I don't remember anything super memorable as far as like
Uh,
moves or like stunts or
Literally, the only thing that I
high
remember, like
spots.
fully, the R Truth imitating and getting the count, and everybody was like, "This is not that
Yeah,
match." That was fun, but
yeah.
outside of that,
And then I think this is a mistake that the next match is also a tag team match. It's like you got to mix it up more. I just saw so many dudes, and then you're gonna follow it with
yeah,
another tag match that also features the Judgment Day. I was like, this kind of feels a little. We're getting a little repetitive here because we go right into Rey Mysterio and Andrade versus Dominic and Santos Escobar, who's the only one of these four that I wasn't at all familiar with.
yeah.
I don't know
No,
Santos Escobar very much.
no, the maybe correct me if I'm wrong. The one that is called the Emperor,
Maybe.
the one that's with Dominic, that's the one that I
Yeah.
had no fucking clue who
That's
that
who
guy
I
was.
exactly. That's what I'm talking about too.
And he legit sucked. I did not like him. Sorry.
No, well, I mean, we might as well. Honestly, we can just pull the trigger on this. I think the fucking Dominic push is a bomb. Like, we got to let this shit go. It
Yeah.
sucks.
He's
Like,
fine. He's
We've been
fine.
trying for like 2 years, and
Yeah.
this is the best we've gotten. They're all like, he's wearing the parka colors. No, he's covering his weak chest. 2 years, he ain't been able to put on any muscle mass. And I'm telling you, dudes are looking fucking ripped these days.
Dude,
Like the
AJ
HGH
Styles?
era has gone nuts. Like
AJ Styles?
half the dudes have like Ultimate Warrior bodies where they have a barrel chest and abs. Like that's like half the roster now.
Randy
That used to be
Randy
far and away.
Orton. Dude, Randy Orton and AJ Styles look completely different
Yeah.
than the last time
In
I saw
LA
them.
Knight too, the dude who fights AJ Styles, I was same thing about him. I was like, Jesus Christ, he looked like he had someone else's head on a big like muscle, like a He-Man body. He had like a crazy He-Man doll body.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I like him in terms of like being part of the Judgment Day and the mommy angle, but as an actual like main eventer or
Yeah, he
Lone
makes a
Star,
great Weasley little like sidekick
yes,
and like
yeah,
lurking around and creeping around. But yeah, like trying to sell him as like a talent on the same, like trying to
yeah,
get him prepped so you can have Rey Mysterio retire and he's gonna take his place. That ain't ever gonna happen.
no, no. And Ray, like 48 years old, 49 right now, and moving very well in the ring. Still
Oh
has some
yeah,
cool. He still knows how to sell well the moves. What I really, I actually took a note. This is the yeah, the moonsault into a backflip
yeah. The double
sequence.
moonsault. That's
Dude,
Andrade did that. Was he
that
lands the
was
moonsault on his feet
wild.
and then does another flip? That was rad. That was a
That was
very
wild.
and
I
the
enjoyed it. I enjoyed this match in terms of like it being like very lucha
yeah.
libre style. It had a lot of fun. It had that big the one that they're making fun of where Carlitos and the other guy like
They like launched
springboarded.
dude out to the yeah
Yeah,
out to the
they
audience.
had
I
a lot
like
of
that.
fun.
That's fun.
I feel
Carlito
like
is another one. Huge. Carlito looks like a monster now. I mean, maybe it's because he's in there with all the lucha dudes, but he's big.
no,
Like,
no, he's big. When he came out in the pay per view that was in Puerto Rico to help out Bad Bunny against Damian Priest, and he came out in the shirt like it was like dying. That shirt,
pulled tight,
yeah, that shirt
squealing.
was barely there, man. That shirt was when he took it off, nobody could wear that shirt again. Yeah,
That's
he
awesome.
definitely took some time off to do some horse meat and training, all natural
I
body.
told you, man, that HGH, these guys are on fire, man.
Yeah,
The Marvel movies changed the game. Like they were like, oh, look how big we can get.
yeah, yeah. And then you have like Kumail Nanjiani with body dysphoria and he doesn't know what the hell he is anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know if this is the answer, my dude. We need
Yeah.
to scale it back a
Like
little.
I don't think we can give you like quirky rom coms anymore. You're too scary now.
I don't know what you are anymore, Kumail. I think you need to lay off the steroids.
Yeah. He got too into it. He enjoyed the working out too much. But yeah, this one definitely had some spots, and then it ends with the assist from the Eagles, the guys
Yeah,
running, and the it actually took me a second to realize that those were like Rey Mysterio masks with like the Eagles color and like they
yeah,
actually had the like Eagles logo on them. I was like, oh okay, I get it now.
yeah. No,
Philadelphia.
and
We
he
didn't
had
talk
the
about that this one was in Philly and there's no, a lot of times when they do them somewhere, like when they did it in New Orleans, like you really feel the theme like
yeah
kind
the
of
city.
baked into it. There wasn't really much of that in this. It's like the theme was just green, you know?
Yeah, green and the Liberty Bell
Yeah, it
in
had the
the
bells, but
logo.
like just up at the like just on the entrance, nothing crazy, and the big XL.
Yeah, I think either the crowd was not really that into it or the sounds because it's an open stadium.
Yeah,
Maybe they didn't know how to really capture the pop of the crowd. Because I feel like for the pretty much for the majority, the only one that I really felt it was those 5 minutes of the last match on
yeah.
Sunday, where I could really hear the crowd like
Well,
going ape
I
shit.
mean, like they get into the call and response. Seth Rollins and Cody both have the call and response kind of
Yeah,
entrance, and so so the crowd gets into that obviously, and who knows
yeah.
how much of that is piped in by the WWE also, but yeah,
But yeah,
overall,
the ending was like I feel like yeah, it was a nice treat.
yeah, it's a fun little thing.
I enjoyed that more than fucking Snoop Dogg appearing again randomly.
At least Snoop Dogg didn't wrestle. I was worried that
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg was gonna
Well, he did
wrestle.
wrestle like 2 years or 3 years
Yeah,
ago.
that's what I'm sure he did, but I'm glad he didn't this year because he's too old. Calvin's too old for that now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I was noticing. I actually thought it was kind of overall. I thought WrestleMania was kind of light on celebs this year, and I wondered if that had a little bit to do with The Rock, like not wanting to
Yeah.
compete. He wanted to be the big show, the big name. Like,
Probably. I mean, yeah, he is the biggest. celebrity
Yeah,
in WrestleMania right now. I mean, in terms of Hollywood and outside entertainment, like you really cannot call the Rock a wrestler right now, especially like 10 years removed.
yeah,
So, and then in that frame, we'll get there. But he looked so slow. He's huge.
yeah,
He was so
yeah. I
big.
mean, he can still do it, but he's like his body is totally different than even when he was at his biggest in the WWE. It's
Yeah.
insane. Talk about a dude who's just like I got the He-Man body. But
Next one
next
we
one,
can fully skip, man. That was the most boring
oh, you
fucking
don't care
fight I've
about the
seen in my life.
Usos?
It was so boring. It was so boring.
I mean, I just think their skill sets are so similar that like you're just kind of watching two dudes do the exact same thing to each other over and over again. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
think I have a hot take. I don't know. I think they can't wrestle.
oh
Honestly,
really?
yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I think it seemed fine. They
It
definitely they,
every time I see like Jay or every time I see Jimmy, they feel like they don't know how to sell it, and they constantly botch their sequences. Like they cannot like the best example is the ramp when they in the last sequence they were Jimmy did not know how to fucking get to the moment where they had to do the spear off to the
so you just kind
table.
of like
Like,
drug him over there or
yeah,
whatever.
they were
Yeah,
like you can see the mechanics of it, and
I
I
I
did not
definitely
enjoy it.
this can go in. I mean, it's something that's more for the main event, but it's going to come up. I do think that it can tie into the idea that like we don't need Solo Sokoa because the Usos exist already and to fill that spot, and like he's just another. He's literally like they're trying to push the Usos as singles, or at least Jimmy or Jay is going to be a singles guy, but then like to what end? Like Finn
Yeah,
Balor, like you don't have Finn Balor and AJ Styles and LA Knight and who else do we talk about? Damian Priest and all the Kofi. Like you've got singles, dude. Like so you're just like, well, what's your
Kevin
plan? What's
Owens,
I know
Sammy.
that the end of every tag team is they fight each other. I get that,
Yeah,
but like, what is your plan beyond that? You don't have one.
yeah,
He's just gonna be teamed up in 6 months. He'll be teamed up with someone else.
probably yeah. But yeah, the sequences of them like I do a kick, you do a kick. I do a punch, you do a punch. Like, it dragged on way
I
too
get
long.
it. You're twins. Whoa.
We're doing the same thing. And the crowd kind of tried to get into it, but by the end, they were like, he was so quiet. I was like,
Yeah.
damn, I guess I'm not the only one. And on Twitter, they were like ripping them apart as well. So
Oh, were
at
they?
least, yeah, at least in terms of like the wrestling community, I don't think anybody really enjoyed that match. So I didn't feel too bad saying that they sucked.
No, like I said, I don't. That's far from a wrestling standpoint. Yeah, I just feel like I said, I don't nothing just jumping out at me. I just think their skill sets are exactly the same. That's why they work as a tag
Yeah,
team. Like,
they
but like to
probably
watch
would
them,
be more fun as a tag team,
yeah,
but
just put them back together as a tag
I've
team.
never, yeah, like I said, I used to watch it as I'm a stalker. This is the first time they let me in the house
Hmm.
in like 5 years. But every time I see clips or people talking about them, like they were fun, like kind of like Dominic. They were fun in terms of like they were with Roman and they had like that cool betrayal that kind of didn't go fully anywhere. I mean, it kind of did, but it could have been more elevated. But Cody came in and kind of stole their thunder completely. But Jay betraying Roman with that was a very cool
Yeah,
storytelling. But in terms of like wrestling, not sold.
not doing much for you.
Mm.
Um, next one we got 3-on-3. A 6-woman tag: Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi against Damage Control, which was Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Dakota Kai.
Yeah,
And Dakota Kai and Kerry or Asuka and Kerry Sane are the Kabuki Warriors. They're also the women's tag champions
yeah,
for one
they
of the shows.
yeah for I think for SmackDown.
Okay.
I did not like them at all. Because they were like too focused on doing faces. Like
Yeah,
she kept going like, "Come on, like, all
they're
right,
mugging too much.
yeah, come on, give me something." But Bianca, like, she fucking stole the show. Like every move was like very athletic, very quick, very fluid. That's what I like when people like. really is. You don't have to be like the most athletic or the most powerful, but when you can get from point A to point B, and it feels like you're actually trying to do something, not
Mhm.
something that you rehearsed or something that oh, I know this wrestling move. It's a pile driver. You know, it's like I'm doing a pile driver. And when it
Yeah.
feels that way, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm enjoying the
She got that
fluidity of the
snap, that
match.
intensity.
Yeah,
Everything's done with that energy. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I know. Yeah, like I know Asuka's a legend. And I've enjoyed single stuff with her. Yeah, this match was fine. I agree with you. I think Bianca Belair is an exceptional talent. I think Jade Cargill's got an incredible look
yeah,
and was very serviceable as a tank to come in and clear house when it was time.
yeah.
Um, and everybody else, like I don't know much about Naomi, and like we
Mhm.
already talked about Kabuki Warriors and stuff. I don't. I The thing about all those we'll talk about it maybe with the EO Sky. There's those girls are so little. Like even for women's wrestlers, they're
Yeah.
so tiny. EO Sky is like she looks like I expected Bailey to just flatten her in one like just
You know the thing that it may be is because it's my OCD. I
And
notice
Bailey's
stuff a
not
lot.
huge or anything. She's not like
No,
a monster, but like Sky looked like a little baby.
the thing that I noticed about them, like the two tag team and EO,
Hmm.
and also the other one, the not
Dakota Kai, who is
Asian
apparently
of the
there's no
three,
new leader in Damage
Dakota
Control, but according to the announce table, she's like kind of taken a bit of a
is the
lead.
fact. Um, she was more worried about her. I think she was feeling that her boobs were gonna come out every single time she took a bump.
She's
She was
constantly like
like,
adjusting her
yeah,
titties.
kind of like John Cena was worried about his bald spot. He kept going like this. I was like, dude,
it is
focus on the
getting
match.
it is getting pretty bad.
Yeah. The thing that I noticed about those three and Io Sky, and it's kind of like a visual thing. Whenever they went to the rope, they
Mhm.
barely moved the rope because they're tiny
They're
people.
so little, they bounce off the rope, but they don't, and then they're just running. Like, yeah,
Yeah, but the
you don't
rope
feel like they're
goes
really
like,
getting that Irish
yeah,
whip. That like,
yeah.
yeah,
It looks so weird. But yeah, I mean, I was fine with the match. I was happy for Jade that she was like, I know that she had a long journey to get to the WWE.
yeah. I don't know what
And
is her story. I don't know anything about her. What's her story?
she's like a homegrown talent for AEW, and she
Okay.
became their champion and all that stuff. But there was like a lot of negotiations and a lot of issues with Tony Khan, I think. And she essentially said, I'm just gonna prove myself in the actual big leagues." And sign with WWE. I think she signed a week before or a month before Cody. And then suddenly Cody came in and CM Punk, and it's like everybody
Yeah,
from AEW kind of transferred over. But I think they're gonna groom her to be like the Rhea stopper.
yeah. I mean, she
Probably.
looks great. She's got an
Yeah,
incredible look. She definitely has
yeah.
the size and everything to be very impressive in there.
That would definitely be if she can continue to polish her like skill set and
Yeah,
because she
yeah.
definitely
Like I said, I
both
don't
of
know how good
them.
she's in the ring because they
Yeah,
didn't give her too much to do. She was mostly
they didn't
just
give her
like
good
functioning
chance.
as a tank. But
Yeah, but definitely it would be fun to see those two tanks go against each other.
yeah, yeah. Ooh, Rhea
Two
Ripley.
beautiful women as well. Beautiful,
Yes,
beautiful women.
Mama, please be on top. Um,
Yeah.
so now we got and we I don't know if we've been mentioning who won all the matches, but Bianca Belair, Jade, they won, they got the
Yeah.
win. So then we go into the Intercontinental title match.
Yeah.
Uh, Gunther,
They,
a long reigning. I don't know how long is his title reigning
six
comparison.
hundred and 600. I think they did it. They took it out on purpose because it's a cool number.
Did they
Six
surpass?
hundred.
Did he surpass Honky Tonk Man?
I think so. Yes.
Did
Six
he?
hundred 666. So he's a 666.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
I do have to say, quick side note. I got to meet Honky Tonk Man. He was doing a little signing at a hobby shop near
Nice.
me. Wasn't like a big convention or anything. He was just like in the back of a hobby shop signing. I got a picture, but he was real cool. He talked. He chatted us up for a little bit, told some stories and some backstage. And he earned his $40 autograph. I'll put it that way. He put in the time with
Awesome.
me and my wife, and it was cool to meet a legend and a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
Speaking of
he
Hall of
appears like offhandedly in so many of the Vice documentaries, like
Oh
in
yeah.
Honky Tonk, in Honky Tonk.
Well, he was talking about. I was saying something about how it's. I was like, oh man, Peacock's got all the old shit, and they got all these docs, and they got all. He's like, oh yeah, they trick you. They get you there for the Hall of Fame ceremony, and they sit you down, and they talk to you, and they get you on tape talking about all this different shit, and then they chop it up and they use it in those documentaries, and they don't pay you for it. I was like, oh shit, he just went off on them. I was like, hell yeah, you tell it, honky tonk, that's rad.
Nice. Okay.
I was
Damn.
like, you get him, King. But anyway, so Gunther's long reigning, possibly record breaking IC title reign.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn, the everyman hero. Everybody loves Sami Zayn. He's
Yeah,
a
he's a cool dude.
wholesome family man. He's like he represents kind of your like well, him and Kevin Owens both like guys you could like you feel like if you made it to wrestling, this is who you would be, and
Yeah.
they both have that vibe. Now I don't know, maybe you were following it a little more closely. It seemed like maybe he had a obviously playing into the Philadelphia thing, a bit of a Rocky 3 thing going with Chad Gable, where maybe Sammy had got some training from him. There's a little backstage moment with them right before they go out, and he was like, "Hey, you trained hard, you did great, but you're gonna owe me one." And I felt like this kind of like Apollo Rocky vibe.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering
I'm
if
with you,
Chad
Paul.
Gable will be looking to cash in for a shot at that title because Sami Zayn, spoiler alert, does win this match in a very
Yeah.
heartfelt, a very hard fought. Like you said, maybe a little overly long, but I think they're really playing the like. They really wanted to beat Sammy down to have him come back. That's kind of his. He's got that Mick Foley energy. Like
Yeah.
he kind of has to take an incredible beating before he can come back and win.
Yeah, my only like obviously outside of like the beating kind of dragged a little is that they focus way too much on the wife. Like it was like cut to the wife every like 30 seconds. I was like, I mean, I get it. She's there, and
Well, also
Gunther
they
is
make a
like
thing
mocking
backstage
her.
where she's got the kid, and he's like, I don't want him to see this. Get him out of there. But then she's at ringside. You're like, oh, would you just like you were at the stadium? Would you just drop him off at the daycare center? Put him in I just put him in one of the penthouses and lock the door from the outside.
They gave him to The Rock. You know, he's super good with kids.
The
Uh,
Rock's backstage with him, like just coochie cooing.
yeah, they cut way too much to her, and Gunther gave too much. Like even The Rock gave less attention to Mama Rose, and they built that up for like weeks. And
I
Gunther was obsessed with his wife.
Yeah, I do like that Gunther's finally emoting more though. Like I mean it's fine to have him be the stoic ring general all the time, but he's
Yeah,
being a little more maniacal, a little more creepy. He's a great Nazi coded villain,
yeah,
without having to overly state anything. He's perfect for that. He's got the look. His face and haircut are do the work for him.
yeah.
As long as he comes out in that long coat, perfect. Couple
I'm
of
I'm 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 like not confused, but like I mean, I guess I'm not even paying attention, so who gives a fuck? But I'll ask the question.
sure.
Um, Damian Priest, spoiler alert, obviously he's in the big. I mean, well, not spoiler alert. Obviously he's in the big picture now. And we have CM Punk, we have Seth Rollins, we have um Drew
McIntyre, yeah, McIntyre.
McIntyre, and a few others around that circle. And obviously, by taking off the Intercontinental from him, you're setting him up for something bigger.
Yeah,
So
usually it's time to move on. He's been a long
yeah,
reigning intercontinental. Yeah. And again,
so
this is the thing, like you're gonna get a log jam at the top. Like
yeah,
there's only
that's what I'm
so many
saying.
titles.
So I don't know what's gonna be his direction now that he's no longer the intercon, because you're not gonna give him the U.S. You're not gonna take it from Cody. So the only one
Oh
that's
no.
up,
Cody's gonna be champ
only
for a while,
yeah,
I
he's
would say.
gonna have, and he'll have different challengers and stuff like that. And there's a lot of pre-built storylines for Cody that could flourish. But
I don't think they'll turn right around and do like Roman again at Backlash. I think it'll be probably Seth Rollins at
yeah,
Backlash.
that would be cool.
Um, But we can
But
talk
yeah,
about that when we get more
I
into
don't
the main
know. I
event.
don't know where Gunther is gonna go after this. Like,
Yeah,
honestly, is maybe they'll give him like a storyline with, I don't know, like a Randy Orton type, like somebody big name
yeah,
big brand that you can do like just a single off match, and
yeah.
that way the
Somebody who's main event level, but who's not gonna be in the title picture right now, who you
yeah
can like let Gunther kind of prove himself with,
yeah.
show that he's on that next, he's moved up to the next level.
And
And I mean,
also, I
Randy
don't
Orton's probably a
know.
perfect choice, honestly,
Yeah, no, and I
because
don't know. Like,
he's coming off a fight like, you know, he was kind of coming off a nothing feud. You know, he basically he's not going to be probably carrying over what from this.
yeah.
He's just like, this will be okay. I'm done on the next thing for him. So
No, yeah, that match definitely felt like comedic relief.
well,
Like,
I
just
mean,
have let's have fun
yeah,
and have put up some bumps for Logan and move on. But yeah, that's the only thing that I took away from the Gunter and Sammy. Like, I'm super happy for Sammy. Obviously, like he had another super emotional win when he won the titles with Kevin Owens, and that was super fun.
he did a top rope brainbuster on Gunther that
Yeah,
looked fucking awesome. It
yeah,
was
it did.
so good.
It
It was
did.
like probably my favorite, made my favorite move in the whole 2 days. It was
It did.
rad.
And what I found so funny about it is like an AEW fan went viral because he was like Butch Mania because he thought he was doing like a pile driver off the rope.
Yeah,
And you can clearly hear Michael Cole saying, "A brainbuster from the
yeah,
top rope." He's like, "They're telling you what it was supposed to be.
yeah.
Like, why are you pretending that it was a botched move?"
The AEW, like the rivalry thing and the tribalism stuff is so funny to me. It's like
Yeah, it's
everybody,
like,
it's good for business. It's good for business.
it's
I
like the
didn't
same
realize
shit every
Edge
time.
is over in AEW now. It's like, see, I can't even keep track of who's where.
No, yeah. I mean, I haven't seen anything because I tuned in when we started doing. I think I already said this but who gives a fuck? Nobody's listening right now.
No,
But I
this is
said
for
this.
us. We're having a
No,
conversation.
yeah. I said
Structured.
this in the when we started the podcast. I was like, I saw that AEW was live. I was like, oh yeah, I've been watching all these documentaries. I'm gonna watch a couple matches. And it was like, rough.
It
It was
wasn't.
like very bad, very bad, very very
Yeah,
bad. So I haven't gone back, but I saw that he was rivaling with Christian. I was like, I would watch a couple matches between them actually, because I
that'd be
bet those
worthwhile.
that should be pretty good. But yeah,
All right,
this match was solid. Yeah, moving
main
on.
event Saturday night. We're ready. It's time.
We're ready.
We got The Rock and Roman Reigns against Cody and Seth. This is
Yeah.
setting up for Cody and Roman to double main event and Seth to fight both nights. The stipulation is if Roman and The Rock win, they have to. Cody's match against Roman will be bloodline rules, which we can talk about how that shit doesn't mean anything. Like, what's the difference between a Philadelphia street fight and bloodline rules and a no DQ? And they're all the fucking same. Also, nobody enforces the rules in a regular match. You ever seen anybody get counted out? The only time it was when AJ Styles called for LA Knight to get counted out, but they weren't going to count him out without AJ telling them to.
Not at all. Yeah, the ref was like, "Oh yeah, right. Oh,
Oh yeah, my job. Oh shit. One, two.
I think the only time that 10 count has ever mattered was in the Iron Claw movie. When Zac Efron broke his ribs. That's the only time that 10 count had any dramatic tension to it.
So good. Um, I guess now is a good enough time as any to talk about the elephant in the room and why The Rock is even at WrestleMania this year.
Yeah.
And why there's such a strong focus on it's the Paul Levesque era and forget
It's a
about
new era.
everything else. We're on a totally new direction.
Vince McMahon who?
Yeah. Vince McMahon's like again, we haven't heard anything beyond the initial sex trafficking charges,
Yeah.
but obviously a very quick choice was made. The
I
Rock,
mean, the funny thing is, he stepped away before the shit before the as shit had hit the fan. I don't remember what specifically was, but it has hit the fan. He was like, you know what, I'm stepping away. This is your company. I'm fine. I'll be in the background.
yeah.
they merge, they create TKO, and he's like, "I'm back, baby." And then a month later, no, you're not. Get the fuck out of here. So he could have easily stepped away, and WWE didn't have to pivot so hard. But yeah, that is very obvious and very on the nose that it's a new era, brother.
Yeah, well, and The Rock literally coming back like, "Hey, look, here's what's look at this. Look, The Rock's here. Don't worry about
Look at
anything
this
else that's
shiny
going
thing.
on.
Look at this shiny thing.
Look at this shiny new thing. The Rock's doing a heel turn. He's making a big old show of it."
Yeah,
And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they did a great job of making this WrestleMania feel very big this year, but it is kind of gross to like the way
honestly,
they
yeah,
he kind of trotted out. He's a shareholder in the company. I do like that they just like were they have to acknowledge the internet and the people know the business. So it's like you have to like wrap that into the storyline. So you have the meta aspect of being like, well, the fucking ref can't really call anything because The Rock's technically his boss.
yeah. Yeah, when they panned to him and he's like, "If you count me out, I'll fucking fire you." And I was like, "All right,
Yeah, there you go.
um, it makes sense." But yeah, I think I was debating, and maybe I'll debate it with you. So my theory is, they saw that CM Punk got hurt, and this asshole, blanking on his name, Brock Lesnar was fired and erased from existence, and like a lot of things start to fall apart. And I think they really did wanted to do Rock versus Roman Reigns, um, to kind of sell WrestleMania that way.
Yeah,
And I truly believe, maybe they pulled the wool over my head, but that they saw the backlash of not finishing Cody's story, and they really did a beautiful pivot. Like that pivot to Rock being a heel, because in the beginning there was a lot of respect. Uh,
yeah,
Cody stroked his hand. The Rock wasn't acting like a heel, wasn't acting
yeah,
over the top. But as soon as they saw the writing on the wall, they were like, "All right, fuck it, let's do corporate Rock again. Let's do the silk shirts." Um, but to the detriment of uh Roman. Like Roman, if you see the body language and the way that he fought on Saturday versus how he fought and acted on Sunday, it's like night and day. It's very visible how confident and his swagger is completely different when he was fighting Cody solo versus him pretending to be like, "I have to give respect to the final boss, but I'm the tribal chief." And
well, right, yeah, that doesn't like that whole thing confused me. It's like he's
yeah,
the final boss, but he defers to the tribal chief. Tribal chief's head of the table, but he's the
yeah,
final boss. It doesn't really make a
yeah,
lot of sense. Um, yeah, I mean, as far as I like the Cody stuff really works for me.
yeah,
The whole arc of his story, and because it's the same reason that we still talk about the Montreal Screwjob. It's because the best stories are the real ones.
yeah,
Like the fact, and I think plays into whether it's true or not. I'm with you in wanting to believe that it was in response to the actual fans, and that because that plays into the Cody narrative that I've already been enjoying. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And like the idea that like he was about to get screwed and we stood up for him and every. Now I fully agree. I fully believe that leading like from last year to this year, they did have plans to do Cody and Roman again. Like that was the original
yeah.
plan. And I think that was smart, and I think the whole like storyline had built really well, obviously, really naturally. In fact, I was pretty disappointed when he didn't win last year, but I was like, if they draw this out and they do a second match and he gets
Yeah.
to win next year, it'll be worth it. And but
No, yeah. I mean, it was literally the when he won Royal Rumble, they cut to Roman Reigns in the stands, and they're like
yeah,
pointing at each other. So there's no secret that who was next and
yeah,
what they wanted to do. But yeah, the actual match was. I mean, fun. There was a lot of good moments. They kind of stared too much, and like there are a lot of lulls in the match in terms of like either like performing for the crowd or staring at each other.
Yeah.
Felt like kind of like a Dragon Ball Z episode, but when it kind of started rolling, it was fun. I love the rock bottom on the table. I like the belt on the back. Um,
Um, I love The Rock delivering lines like Harrison Ford in The Fugitive at Mama Rose. He's like, Mama Rose, you find this man. Your son's blood on this belt. Your tears are next. He was like a dubbed over anime
yeah,
villain.
yeah. That's funny actually. Yeah. And that camera was always there to catch his lines, and the other
Oh,
lines you
absolutely.
barely listen to those lines. So it's definitely the board man, board board talking right there. But what I wanted to say is like, uh, and I feel like it's all the matches. There were a lot of fake knee injuries that really slowed down the matches, and this one it was Seth Rollins, and for like 5 minutes it was obviously like it was setting up for Cody to be in the end, kind of the hero, but he's betrayed. But they kept Seth away from Cody, and they kept beating up on him, and it was kind of like Io and Bailey, and also AJ and LA Knight, and there were two other matches where the theme was less, and it's a trope and it's normal, and I know, but
Sure, sure.
it when you watch, when I watch 8 hours in a row because that's what I did. It got to a point where I was like, I mean, my knees started to hurt, and I was like, can we leave the knees alone and can we just fight? What the fuck is with the knees?
Right.
But yeah, The Rock. I mean, he looks incredible. He's jacked. He regrets voting for Biden.
Great.
So
God damn, what an entrance, though. Like, he brought
yeah,
back the Brahma belt. The big flaming bull on the ground looked great once
yeah,
they got it all lit. It was cold out there, guys.
it was very cool though. They kept
uh,
mentioning it.
they kept talking about the.
The ugly ass suit from Michael Cole could not keep him safe. And also
It took me so
fuck
long to
Pat
catch a
McAfee,
full
by the
glimpse
way.
of that. And I was like, you're not a black man going to church. You can't wear that suit.
If they would have been in Louisiana, he would have fit right in. But we were in Philly. What are you doing, my dude? And fuck Pat McAfee, man. He suck. Like it's an art form. Okay, Michael Cole is not the best, but he's solid enough.
Yeah.
What Jr. did, the King did. Even the new dude, I forgot his name. He's fine.
Corey Graves.
Corey Graves is
Yeah.
fine,
Yeah, why don't
but
they have what's his name? This Scottish dude who does the pre-show. He should be out there. The what's his name? He was an NXT guy. Oh crap.
I think he is the NXT commentator. I think,
Yeah,
and
maybe
I
that's
kind of
why.
know what
Maybe
you
he
mean.
does the NXT shows. Wade
Yeah,
Barrett. Wade Barrett. That's what I'm
wait,
thinking of.
I think he is the NXT commentator.
He should be one of. They move him to the main show. He's got the goods.
Yeah, the it's an art form, vamping and just talking and not only giving insight to the match or elevating the moves and just elevating the backstory stuff like that. And like man, Pat Mc it got to a point where every now and again I would just lower the volume when he started talking. I was like, I don't want to listen to him anymore. Um, but yeah, but
Uh,
The Rock, man, I can't
and
deny it. Like, obviously, we're of the Attitude Era, and I had a lot of fun watching him fight. Um,
he still got
but
it. Like I said, he may have slowed down a
he
little bit
still
because of the
got it,
size, but he still totally got it. Like he
dude. That
still
was the
sells. He
slowest,
still looks great. Like
the slowest people's elbow in recorded history.
running across the
But yeah, man, he's fucking like,
and to no one's surprise, like I was telling my wife this well before we even watched the show. I was like, The Rock didn't come to lose. The Rock's ain't
oh
lose. First of all, it's good for the story if it's bloodline rules and it's more challenge for Cody and the next. It's
yeah,
like you're building that up. But also, The Rock didn't come to WrestleMania to lose.
no, no, it was fun. It was a good match. It was nostalgic. Um, and obviously what we said, like, it sets up the obvious shit show that was gonna be the last 5 to 10 minutes of
Right, right. We know what they're
Cody and
doing. You
Roman.
want to set up those so you can, because now anything can literally happen. And we'll talk to it.
I, we're gonna get there, but I really wanted Dustin. I really
Oh, I
wanted
know. I was
Goldust.
thinking the same thing. And I don't know about you, but like, did you think for maybe a second John Moxley might show up when they hit that Shield music? I was like,
I
if Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose both come out of the crowd, I'll shit a brick. Like,
no,
I mean,
he
I
was,
know that was never going to happen because we all know how he feels about the company or whatever. But like, that would have been
yeah,
pretty incredible.
yeah. That's somebody else that I don't like wrestling.
Oh,
But
like
yeah,
just his style, you mean?
yeah, he sucks.
Oh,
But
I don't. Again, like I'm not super
personality
familiar
wise,
with his
yeah, he's
skill
cool.
set or anything. He's more of a brawler, from what I remember. Like,
Yeah, personality wise, it would have been a cool bump for sure to see them both there,
right, just to have him
and
show up in the vests and the outfits and everything would have
yeah,
been fun. But anyway, we can get into Sunday. We're moving to Sunday night here. Uh,
yeah.
they open. Stephanie McMahon comes out to fillet the Paul Levesque era a bit and get the crowd ramped up. I mean, I don't know. She still got it though. Like 10 out of 10 would bang.
Yeah, she's a beautiful woman. She's a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
attractive woman.
She's evil too, which is hot. Like it's hot that she's evil.
That's your kink.
It's
Um,
that's cool.
yeah,
She's like that chick from remember the lady on GI Joe who had like sexy the little glasses, like the
yeah,
Baroness or whatever. Like she's like
yeah,
that.
the Baroness. Baroness. I found it funny that somebody tweeted the last people to beat Roman Reigns, and within them it was Shane McMahon. And I've always found it funny how Shane, Stephanie, Vince always found a way to be like at the top, and then they try to sell these wrestlers as being unbeatable and stuff like that. But suddenly a McMahon comes around, and oh yeah,
Rick Shane
Stone
McMahon can
Cold.
show up in a baseball jersey and tennis shoes, and he can beat you
Yeah,
though.
yeah. But it is what it is. But the first match is Seth versus Drew,
Yeah.
and I feel
Seth
like
Rollins had the best entrances on both nights, although
yeah,
his entrance in night two did feel like it was left over from the New Orleans one. I was like,
yeah,
these guys just been hanging around since New Orleans.
yeah, they kept them on the payroll. They had a coupon 2 for 1, and they're like, all right, we'll issue again in Philly.
Yeah, we'll do it one more time.
Is that when he tweeted? I don't know if you saw that. That Drew
Drew
McIntyre.
McIntyre tweeted during the match.
Yeah, but was it during the entrance or was it during the actual match?
I think it was during the actual match because I feel
Oh,
like I saw it where he like did it and then he turned and like went back and like went hit Seth Rollins again.
okay.
Um,
Yeah, I
Drew
feel
McIntyre was
like
bragging about having an easy night's work because Seth took such a beating the night
yeah,
before. Um, and I thought this match was serviceable.
it was fine.
Again, the thing
It
about
was
the
the ending.
finishers, like
Yeah,
the Claymore, again another kick to the face. How many different ways can you kick to the face? They just you
yeah.
don't. I'm not impressed by this.
No, I'm far more impressed by the two flips that AJ Styles does of the turnbuckle.
Yeah,
That one is like, actually, you're like, oh fuck, that's actually a pretty cool finisher. You know, the worst finisher of the entire night though, I will get there, but it's Bailey's. That's by far the worst finisher of
the
all time.
Bailey
The
to
rose
belly is just a
plant.
suplex. Is that
No,
one?
the rose plant where
Oh yeah,
she literally just grabs a hand and then pushes the face on the mat. That's it.
yeah.
That's
It's like the
how is that
curb
a
stomp,
finisher?
but with a hand. It's
Yeah.
like
What is that?
yeah, I know.
What is what it is.
Yeah, there's not much to that one. I agree. Um, yeah,
The
again
the
this
match is fine. I
match is
didn't.
fine, but really it's all to set up the
It's the
moment where
ending.
we got CM Punk at ringside. Drew McIntyre can't let it go. He could if he would have just left with his title, he'd be fine. But he
Hmm.
gets in CM Punk's face. They get into it. he CM Punk had an arm brace on, of course, takes it off, whacks Drew McIntyre with it, which is fun. I like that he took it off and then like put it on the other hand and like punched him with it. That was fun.
No, yeah, he alluded to like I think it was all a setup. I think he could have taken it off like a week ago,
Oh
but
yeah, I definitely think it was like
yeah,
part of the.
he alluded to the fact that like if he was in the old WWE, he would have been wrestling in WrestleMania, but the doctors in the new WWE, in this new era,
In this
I
new
don't know if
era,
you
the
heard
Paul
about
Levesque
it.
era.
Yeah, they stopped him from wrestling, so I think he's kind of there. He'll probably be back in like a month or so. So it'll be interesting to see on Twitter because I'm not watching all the shows every week.
No, I can't
To
keep up with all that shit. I got life to
uh,
lead. But we get a great. Then Damian Priest cashed in on Drew McIntyre, which was so great. Literally, they like his music hits just as CM Punk blows a kiss to Drew McIntyre's wife. So
yeah,
good. I mean, honestly, it's
yeah,
really good
perfect.
stuff. When
And
wrestling's good, it's good.
yeah, and underrated the underrated aspect of everything, and even go back to the first match with Becky and Rhea. The camera work, it was pretty solid during this.
Yeah, overall,
Like like when Rhea was doing the submission finisher of hers, the camera work of them pulling in and pulling back out and stuff like that, it was pretty cool. And then the spin around CM Punk to be the new meme of the reaction,
yeah,
it was pretty fun. But yeah, they kept like that. This is definitely one of the things that I saw on Twitter constantly, and the replays that I saw, and every now and again, I know you don't like him, but I listened to Arnett. Arnett. Oh, fuck me, I'm blanking on his name. You hate
Jim
him,
Cornette.
Jim
Yeah,
Cornette. I was gonna say Jim
fucking
Arnett.
Jim
Jim
Cornette.
Cornette. Jim Cornette has a podcast where he like reviews and commentates on things, and even he has mentioned it. Like people keep like making fun of Damien that he's not cashing in, and then everybody expected him to cash in on Saturday because there were two titles, and everybody was like, "Oh, this fucking guy is never gonna cash in," and it was all a build up, and
Yeah.
it was the perfect cork
Oh, I mean,
exploding of the
a good
champagne.
Money in the Bank cash in is so memorable. You know
Yes,
what I mean? It's so much fun.
yes,
Like and this was a great one. You can't take it
it was
away
great.
from him. It was a
No,
blast.
yeah, it was a full match. Then somebody beats you up in the back. And not only that, before he cashed it in, before he said, "I'm cashing it in," he smashed his face with
Yeah,
the
he did. He
briefcase.
came past and like brained him with it, and then was like, "I'm
Yeah,
cashing this in."
I'm cashing in. And
He had,
he
he
and he
had Drew
and he
McIntyre's
does the
head bent in
finisher,
the
which
side of it when he cashed it in.
yeah, he does the finisher, which is a choke slam, but he goes down with the guy.
Yeah,
So there you go, Brian. Something very different, very
very
new.
different, very new and special and cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I think he has another one. I think it's the choke slam, and there's another one, but I don't remember now.
yeah, everybody's got at least two finishers these days.
Yeah,
I do. I'm happy for Damian Priest. I know that's like, first. I saw you retweeted
yeah,
first Puerto Rican heavyweight champion since Pedro Morales. That's cool. That's real
yeah.
rad.
50 years.
Again, I don't. We'll have to wait and see if they have anything for him. You know what I
I
mean,
don't
or what
think
they're
he's
gonna
gonna
do
be
with
a
him.
long reigning champ.
Yeah. Um, I think probably it'll end up being like a three-way with him and Drew McIntyre and him and
CM
Punk
Punk
at
probably. Yeah,
Backlash or something like that probably.
yeah, probably. But it's interesting because like we've said with Gunter, Gunter loses his title. We don't know what he's gonna do. Damien and man, I'm so bad
Gunther
with
and Damian
names.
having a program would be great, but then we do with everybody else.
Yeah, no, but Damien and bro, why am I his partner?
Finn Balor?
Finn Balor. God damn it. Finn Balor and Damien lose their titles. Gunter loses his title. Obviously, instantly, Damien goes up to become the heavyweight, and probably he's gonna hang around in there for a little bit, few months probably. But I'm interested in what Finn is also gonna do because Finn is such a cool creative wrestler that deserves to be like a solo wrestler. But I think it's just way too crowded. And it's a good problem to have, but
Yeah.
it gets to a point where you go like, oh well, I'm gonna go to AEW, and AEW is equally with shit talent, but equally crowded.
But
So
also a couple of there's still got like at the very top of the top, you still got guys like Brian Danielson and
yeah,
stuff like
MJ,
who are
MJF, and
yeah, who are like top of their game and like you're gonna so what you're gonna leave WWE and make your mark over top of those guys? You think those guys are just gonna let you walk in and be the top dog over them?
yeah.
Like so yeah, you're
I
it's
low key missed the Finn Balor where like he did the makeup
oh
and
yeah, of course the
that
demon.
was
Yeah, that was
yeah,
rad.
the Night
Oh,
Demon I think it was called.
something like that. I was very cool. Now the next one we already alluded to, bit of a throwaway. Because aside
Super
from Bobby
throwaway.
Lashley, I don't know any of these dudes. Uh,
No,
the Final Testament, which was Damian Cross and AOP, which is Agents of Pain, maybe or something like that. Those dudes legitimately disappeared in the match. I even rewound it to be like, did something happen to them? Did they leave? Did they abandon Damian Cross? Was there a double cross here? They're just gone in the
no,
second half of the
they're
match.
they're gone, and it's like like dollar store CM Punk just took all the bumps,
Yeah,
and
he gets creamed by three dudes, and where are his partners at?
I have no clue. The only cool thing about that match was like Bubba has been eating well,
Yeah,
but
we love to see
Bubba
Bubba. We're happy to see Bubba. Um,
and they did the it was kind of sad but also funny, and they improvised quickly where they put him
when
in
they
the
accidentally broke the table,
that has happened so many times where they go like, oh, the table is
they
so
didn't have the legs like
strong.
completely expanded, so like it crumpled. It was so funny.
That's so funny. But yeah, they did the Dudley's face plant into the crotch, and then they did get the tables. It was fun. It was
Yeah, I mean it was
nostalgic.
a little nostalgia to do. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was cool.
it was so weird watching Bobby Lashley with long pants.
Oh yeah.
Like
Also,
I got
like
used to seeing
again,
him in
Bobby
the
Lashley's
tights.
another guy who I'm like, what did they? Man, they just really could never make it work with you. They just never really
Yeah,
could
I
get
mean
it
they.
going.
I think they gave him the title a couple times, and he got up there in contention. But yeah, I
He
feel
had
like
like
he's one
I think
of
his like when he came back and had his run against Brock was probably the best they ever did.
yeah, he's one of those like genuinely nice guys in real life that you kind of root for. Like you're like, yeah, you deserve more. And he's like a genuine badass, like a like arm marine, I think it is. He did
Yeah.
actual wrestling. He did actual UFC,
Oh yeah, yeah,
MMA.
absolutely.
Like he's a true badass in real life and fucking jacked to the gills
Yeah.
since he's like 14. But yeah, it never like clicked.
Well, yeah, I
Never.
just don't think he ever nailed the like kind of like talking personality part. So that always kept him. He was never gonna quite break through
Yeah.
to like the neck that top level. You have
Yeah.
to be able to like give the
Yeah.
people like connect to
The
the people. He
promos.
just doesn't really
You gotta
have it.
talk.
He seems a bit like a fitness robot, so he's hard to connect with. You know.
Yeah. 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 But yeah, the match is a throwaway just outside of the nostalgia bump. A little
Yeah.
nostalgia, and then you keep on come walking.
Next we have LA Knight and AJ Styles. Like I said, two dudes just roided out to the gills. Just a
Roid
couple
it
of
out to the gills.
this felt the most to me this match, and maybe it was the Slim Jim tied and the little like ooh yes we were getting, but this felt the most
Did you
like a
see them?
classic
Did you see the
'80s
Macho
wrestle.
Man? Did
Huh?
you see the Macho Man fan?
Oh yeah, there
Both
were a couple
nights.
fans I was enjoying. There was a Macho Man fan was both nights. Also, the people who had the big signs of their own faces that they would hold up. It was just that they had one of Cody maybe too, but mostly it was just their own faces and they would hold them up. That was funny. I was like, good for them. Um,
The I saw one that said Black Adam sucked. And the one that actually made me laugh was like Prime is too sweet. That one made me laugh a lot.
okay.
But yeah, go ahead, go ahead. Sorry to
No, no,
interrupt.
I just this felt the most like a classic WrestleMania match in the fact that like two jacked up white dudes, one with
Yeah,
long hair and one with short hair, just
yeah.
slapping into each other.
Just meat on
Just
meat
meat
action.
slapping into each other. I mean, it was solid. I think AJ Styles, like I said, one of the like as far as he's probably a little past his prime now, obviously, but like in his prime, in his the peak of his era, one of the best, most
Yeah,
creative, like
super
as
fun.
far as like actual moves and stuff. So nothing,
Yeah,
he looked good. I don't know anything about LA Knight, like what his background is coming before this, but he seemed fine.
all I know and all I've seen
Certainly
is,
Jack.
yeah, he's jacked. All I know and all I've seen is like he inevitably, like undoubtedly he's over with the fans.
Yeah.
Like the fans the love him, but the actual industry heads hate him in that he is just like copying The Rock and Stone Cold. Like he's a mixture of them. And that he puts on a voice and goes like, yeah, and everybody goes like, oh yeah, kind of like the what or the give me a
Yeah.
hell yeah. That's what I've seen, and a lot of people like Kevin Nash, which is like he's a true born hater for
Oh
everything.
yeah, a lot of this.
So
Did you see there's a clip going around of Mark Henry bitching about one of the it was like Kari Sane didn't get out of the ring fast enough so that Bianca Belair and her team could do their like pose down after they won and stuff. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Man, old heads in wrestling will do anything to get a
no,
microphone put in front of their face. They just hunger
yeah,
for that. Like it's so funny how many retired wrestlers come out of the woodwork to get them to talk during WrestleMania week and get a little
yes.
attention. Like
And you know the sad thing is like that is everywhere. Like every like professional athlete, as soon
yeah.
as they retire, they instantly start hating on the people that are currently
Yeah.
in. It's sad because like you would think like, hey, I'm gonna use my voice to prop up the new generation to keep the sport that I love,
Sure,
keep
yeah.
going, but whatever. Like
Be a Dusty
recent, like,
Rhodes, build stars, and like help
yes,
young people. And like,
it is what
what
it
was
is. But
Kevin Nash
yeah,
saying about LA Knight? What he had to say? What was his old hater
oh,
ass
that
saying?
like outside of if you strip away his stolen personality of The Rock and Stone Cold, and you actually watch him wrestle, does he know actually how to wrestle? Like, what is the moves that he's doing there? He has no fucking
Well, like I
moves.
said, I was getting a real Ultimate Warrior vibes off him. A lot of like
Yeah, exactly.
clotheslines and like
Yes.
power slams and stuff.
I don't even remember if I caught his finisher. I don't even know what his finisher was.
No, I don't really. Doesn't really.
Right?
Not memorable is what it was.
The only thing that I remember of that match, obviously AJ Styles doing his flips
I bet it
and
was like a sit down pile driver or some shit. Something
yeah,
real like by the numbers.
yeah, I didn't. It didn't blow me away. Because actually this is the first time that I've seen wrestle the both of the hype machines, which is Gunter, which is getting a huge push
Hmm.
by the wrestling community, and LA Knight now. I really enjoyed Gunter, even though they dragged it too much. I saw nothing in LA
But that's
Knight,
like his
so
style, very deliberate, slow,
yeah,
methodical. That's like part of it, which I
yeah.
appreciate.
I didn't see anything with LA Knight.
Because I do have to say that, and this is something I wrote down. We could have talked about it at any time, but man, I really feel like, and maybe this is why I do like, even though it can drag a little bit, but I appreciate the kind of slow workman like ring general style. Like, do fucking top rope moves even mean anything to you
Mm.
anymore? Like,
No,
people go to the top rope like constantly,
yeah,
just jumping and flipping and flying and missing and hitting and getting kneed and popping up, and it's just like that used to be when somebody jumped 10 feet in the air and drove an elbow into the center of your chest. That's it for you. You're done now.
yeah.
Like,
It's I mean, it's actually become a talking point amongst the fans, and one of the
I mean, I
talk.
love the creativity of it.
No, sure,
Because the
sure.
movement, like some of the guys who are like really athletic and flipping and bouncing and swinging around, it's incredibly impressive.
Yeah, no, it's become like so it kind of happened when obviously there's always been the Asian influence with their company, and then obviously the Latino influence with the lucha style. But it does feel similar to when they started bringing just random ass like the golden mask and the dragon and
Oh yeah.
into it because they were trying to ride that wave with the luchador wrestlers. Um, AEW started to really dive into the Asian like Ring of Honor and
Yeah,
Japan. Um, I'm blanking on the name of the Japan
I
company.
think it's New Japan.
New Japan. There you go. In a lot of their matches, and this is something that Jim Cornette really batches. And when I started watching it, I was like, yeah, Jim Cornette actually has a good point. It's more about the flips and let's see what the craziest spot we can do. And 99% of the time it's botched because it's just
Yeah,
way
and
too
they
out of
look,
control.
or yeah, it's sort of like they don't look like they have any impact. They mostly look like a Circus Olay show where two
Yes.
people are just doing a gymnastics routine together.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
I've,
what I complained about at the end of Revenge of the Sith. It's like, yeah, they're doing a lot of spinning those lightsabers around to
yeah, it's
flip it, but they ever
ballet.
gonna hit each other with them?
No, yeah.
Like,
It's like a ballet. But yeah, no, I think it's like, I think WWE is kind of like trying to serve that dish as well with, because obviously their competition is doing it, and it gets to a point where they're like, oh, we actually have kind of people flipping around. Look at Logan Paul doing all those flips over there.
yeah, yeah, look at him go.
Look at him go.
I don't even remember. LA Knight won that. I think
Yeah,
I don't even remember. Who
yeah, he
cares?
won.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't mean anything.
It sucked.
We do our little bit with the Hall of Fame class, where they bring them out, they trot them out. Hall of Fame class, little weak this year.
Yeah,
Little, not really a lot to speak of.
that dude in the I forgot his name. I'm sorry, I'm very bad with names. If somebody's actually listening to this, I apologize. This is my last podcast ever. I promise. You won't see me again.
You'll never see me.
Um, the dude in the wheelchair could not give a fuck where he
With the
was. He was
cowboy
like,
hat, he's just like,
"Yeah, it's
yeah.
me." Okay.
He was tired. He's like, I had my ceremony last night. This is, I don't know if he was,
Yeah,
or Friday night, whatever the Hall of Fame ceremony is.
yeah. That
Um,
was that Rocky's. That was Rock's mom, right?
I think so. Rock's mom, and they're inducting Rock's grandma, and
Yeah,
Rock's mom was there to like be like stand in for her.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Um,
that was cool.
yeah, I mean, like I said, nothing against them, but they didn't really. They've really run out of memorable names. They've kind of inducted all the people like people know. I tweeted about no reason you could have inducted Bray Wyatt this year. You could have just done it. You don't have to wait.
Yeah,
There's no reason to wait. He's going to be a legend. He's iconic. His talent, his like mind for the business. He deserves to be in there, and it would have been a great tribute to just induct him this year,
I
but
agree.
his dad
I
got
agree.
inducted again, which I think his dad's already in the Hall of Fame as IRS, but he got inducted as whatever the U.S. Express or one of those throwaway tag teams from the 80s that all had
Yeah,
Express in their name.
I'm like I feel like I'm pretty good at recognizing like the legends, and
Yeah,
as soon as they came up, my wife was like, "Do you know them?" I was like, "No, I'm sorry,
like people,
I don't
like I
know
said, I
you."
don't think people. I think people remember IRS. They don't necessarily remember Mike Rotunda, but that's he like IRS is the more famous character, and I think that he already got inducted as IRS. So like
Oh, so he's
So he's a lot of
double.
people get inducted as a tag team with somebody, and then they'll get inducted as a
Oh, that's
single
cool.
wrestler too. So I'm pretty sure he is already inducted as a singles wrestler.
Okay,
But
that's cool.
yeah,
All right,
it's fine.
moving on.
Um.
Anyway,
Uh.
congrats to Paul Heyman.
Oh yeah,
That's a good like dot on our sentence when we started watching you doing in the documentary working
that's
from
true. He was
home.
in Beyond the Mat. He was in
Yeah,
our second one that we did.
yeah,
I also I do like that because every time she announced him, she announced Paul Heyman. She would announce Hall of Fame. She like he. That's like okay. That's part of my intro. Now you have to say it every time,
yeah.
like Hall of Famer Paul Heyman.
He's the councilman, right? That's
The
what they call
wise
him.
man they
The
call him.
wise man.
Wise
Nice.
man. So then we have this is a U.S. title match. I didn't realize Logan Paul actually was like the current title holder.
Yeah, I
Um,
think he won the in the previous pay per view.
Okay, so he's the champ. He's up against Kevin Owens uh and Randy Orton. And like I
Yeah,
said, this is another one of those. This one's got a little bit of comic relief vibe to it. Obviously, you got Logan Paul with his Prime Bottle mascot out there. Um, you got Kevin Owens and Randy Orton almost dying when they ride down on. Do you see when he hopped on the back of that thing and like KO took off and he was like,
It's like
oh!
slow down.
It's like the look on Randy's face. That motherfucker was scared.
That was like the closest to death he's ever been
Yeah.
in a wrestling match.
Um,
just, just Kevin Owens just gunning it down the fucking ramp. I
obviously,
really, I
I love
really
Kevin
enjoy,
Owens. He's got the everyman vibe. We talked about with Sami Zayn. We love to see him
and
work.
he's
He's
a
just
good
great.
wrestler
He's
too.
such a good wrestler. He's got that explosive energy and he's got that big man speed like a Bam Bam,
Yeah, and he has a good like I said, I like fluidity. When I watch a wrestler, I like fluidity, and there's no stopping with him. Like there's no, you don't feel like he's thinking. He's just like doing the movements
yeah,
and
he's in
doing
like
the.
constant motion.
Randy Orton is the same, right? Obviously, Randy Orton is a fucking legend, and
Yeah.
surprisingly, like Logan Paul, I fucking hate him as a human being, but
I felt this
he's
way last
good,
year. I watched WrestleMania last year, and I was like, "Damn, I hate to, but I got to give him his props. The
good,
guy put on a good show. He
yeah,
clearly worked hard to get in good shape and like know the moves and like look good doing it. And
hmm
again, he was up to the task this year too. Like
yeah,
I'm not gonna deny it. Like I'm not gonna be a hater. Don't not gonna catch me being a Kevin Nash.
no. Although he needs to not do the jumping flip from the rope too many times. Like
Well,
he needs
yeah.
to save it because I think he did it like 3 times. On the third one, he almost like blew out his knee. Like The Rock almost blew out his knee trying to punch Seth Rollins.
Yeah, yeah. I thought. Speaking of knees, I think we should do a poll of whose knees were you most worried about during WrestleMania because John Cena running down to the ring, I was like, oh,
he
buddy,
was
are you ready
he
for this?
was he was running very awkwardly.
Yeah,
Um,
he kind of started getting some little steps in there, a little like, ooh, I don't want to. Yeah, little twinkle toes. He didn't want to take some big run. He didn't want to blow out his quads. He didn't want to pull a Vince McMahon.
Oh my god, yeah. And just like, could you fucking imagine if he had done that? That would have been so fucking
So
funny.
funny.
Just
Um,
come in and sit in the corner, like Vince did. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna sit in this corner now. This is what the owner of the company does. Okay,
That's what
nobody.
I still don't mind me. I'm officiating from the side here. Don't mind
That's
me.
this is that's why I ran down the ramp because I'm gonna sit in this corner. Okay."
Oh, I'm very serious, but I'm sitting here and I look like a toddler, but it's very serious. Um,
uh,
anything about the Randy Orton? I liked the way they were teamed up, and then like they were about to fight. He's like, "Well, we don't have to fight yet. Let's beat on him a little more." And then
and he
Randy
tried
still
to
almost tried
betray
to
him.
RKO him. He was like, "Hey,
Yeah,
you watch,
no,
you
that's what I'm
sneaky
saying. Like
guy."
it was a fun, like funny match.
Yeah.
There were a lot of moments where it made me like laugh, like Randy Orton almost dying, the betrayal, Logan constantly saying like, "You guys fight," and it was like, "No, we're gonna keep kicking your
Yeah.
ass." It was nice to
Also,
see him.
Randy being very rough with the Pride mascot.
Super. It was very
He's,
good.
he did not
Fucking
play nice with the Prime
300.
mascot guy, who I know is who my
300
son told me is some like YouTuber hanger on
streamer.
guy of Logan Paul's. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's a streamer. He's one of those streamers that is a multi-millionaire for doing nothing. So it's
Yeah.
fun. Good for him.
So good. I hope he enjoyed getting slammed through the Spanish announce table or whatever.
Yeah. And there was another. There was I kept seeing him because he was sitting in the back. Drewski. He's also like a YouTube Shorts
Oh yeah, yeah,
comedian.
yeah.
He was in the audience constantly reacting. So every now and again my eye would go to him. It was kind of funny too.
I
But
loved when they go over the railing and you see the tape line where like the people have to stay behind and you just know that they got a speech. They're like, if you cross that tape line, the WWE can legally kill you and dispose it, disappear your body, and no one will ever find you.
yeah, because they did. It was so funny that it was kind of like the Oscars, right? That corner had Sammy's wife, Mama Rhodes. They had
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre's wife as well. Like, it had a bunch of people in that corner, and also that second corner, like kind of turn, was used for the same spear, but Roman did it in on Saturday, and then Cody did it on Sunday. So
Yeah.
that corner had a lot of action. That
Yeah, absolutely. It's the celebrity corner.
yeah, but yeah, the kick and then the table. It was fun.
Yeah.
The ending I didn't enjoy. Like they should have done something more with the ending. But fun match. I had fun.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of know how it's going to end. Logan Paul's going to cheat to win, and he's the kind of the heel,
No, yeah,
whatever.
he started getting beat up in the beginning, and I told my wife he's gonna win, and
Yeah,
she's like, really? And it's like, yeah, he's getting beat up. Like
yeah,
he's gonna pull it.
yeah. Yeah, it's like didn't you watch the Sami Zayn match?
Yeah,
So now we get into our last two title matches. These are our Royal Rumble winners.
yeah,
Bailey won the Women's Royal Rumble. Apparently had a record-breaking over an hour. Did over an hour in the Ladies Royal Rumble. That's cool. Good for her.
yeah.
That's impressive. And
Why was she
she's
an
fighting
Egyptian?
Io Sky, who again is so small. It's just so small.
Tiny. Quick question: Bailey is a Mexican descent from California.
Okay.
Why was she an Egyptian again? Why did she came out with the pyramids and the pharaoh suits?
Hmm. I don't know. Why is her whole faction made up of Asian girls?
That's okay. There's a lot of questions about
There's a lot going
the
on here. I don't know.
yeah. There's a lot of questions, but she did get betrayed,
It's true. It's true.
so maybe
They were
she'll
like,
have an
wait a
Egyptian
minute,
faction.
you're not
You're
Asian.
not Asian. Oh, you're doing the cat eye
Yeah, you're just
makeup.
doing cat eyes. I know what you I got. I'm on to you.
Get out of
Bailey's
here.
had a great. She's another one. She's much like she actually did it before Roman had the heel did the big heel turn and has had probably her best run as a heel. I guess this would kind of be her turning back now. She's kind of more of a face
Babyface.
again. She's kind
Yeah.
of a little bit more of a face now that she's out of damage control.
Yeah, I
Um,
think yeah, she got betrayed, so she was kind of like the babyface for sure.
yeah,
The match was fun. I liked it.
yeah,
It was kind of slow in the beginning, but it really did pick up momentum and things started flying. I did laugh at the finisher, but I did like the reversal.
oh yeah,
Uh, by Io Sky. I kind of do wish that maybe maybe it's not her style, but obviously she focused way too much on Bailey's knee. But I wish that Io technically was dominating in the beginning, but I wanted it to feel like she was dominating. It really didn't feel
yeah.
like she was dominating Bailey. And then Bailey turned on her
Kind of
and
rally
ended up
back.
winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't feel like she was dominating. It felt more like we're ramping up towards the end. And in
Yeah,
the
and I
end,
don't know,
everything
like
happened.
I haven't been watching, so I don't. But I kind of felt like a Bailey win felt like a bit of a foregone conclusion here. I didn't feel
Yeah,
like
no,
there
for
was
sure.
like a lot of surprise to be had. Like
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
think,
expect every title to change hands at WrestleMania. I'm not one of those
no.
guys, but this one I kind of felt like this feels like we're about done. We're about to turn over for this.
Yeah, the only thing is, I guess I don't, obviously, you and I don't follow, but like, where does that leave the women's division in terms of, obviously, the only reason why Becky and Rhea were fighting is because Becky is the man and one of the most decorated, and they wanted to give Rhea like a big name for wrestling for
Sure,
WrestleMania. We
but there
already
wasn't much of
speculate.
a like rivalry there. She just kind of came
Yeah,
back and was like, "I'm ready to fight."
I'm gonna fight you because you have the title.
Yeah.
But now that Io lost the title, are they gonna keep like the rivalry between them, or are they gonna set up something new? Like it felt kind of like you said, like a foregone conclusion, and not something that was truly built up to this
Well, yeah, I mean,
crowning
like, is this
moment.
the end of this? Pretty. This feels like it's probably pretty much the end of the damage control story with Bailey. Like, she
Yeah,
got her, she got betrayed, and she comes back and wins. So that's usually pretty much she can go on to a new, hopefully a
yeah,
new thing, and
because like
they've still
it
got the
feels
tag titles. That they're that faction sells the tag titles, so they have other stuff they can be doing.
yeah because it felt like if Cody didn't win the obviously it's a better storyline if it did. But if Cody didn't win the Royal Rumble, he would have still gotten Roman. Because if CM Punk would have won, he would have gone against Seth, not
Yeah,
Roman. So Cody would have gone against Roman. but it felt like, oh yeah, she's the winner of Royal Rumble. That's why she's here. Type of vibe, you know. Not like we've been building up this huge storyline for the women's division.
Yeah.
So that's my only take. I saw a lot of online that like, oh, it's a shame that it took so long for Bailey to be in a main event. So happy for her. She
Yeah.
got her
She's
time in the
definitely been a
light.
workworse for a long time now. Like I said, I saw a little bit of the press conference, and Triple H was essentially saying the same thing, just like
Yeah,
she's foundational to the women's division at this point, and she deserves this, and good for her. I agree.
now
All
for the
right,
main event.
this is what we'd all been waiting for, a build up. It's been over 2 years in the making, basically. Um, we got Cody and Roman. I was like, not quite 10 o'clock yet. I was like, is this shit gonna go a full hour? It went to about
Yeah,
it went about 40 minutes. um, I was gonna. Did you notice Roman doesn't really do the big entrances.
no, it was
Like
very
everything's
straightforward.
really pared down and simplistic, and I like that. It's like
I
just
do,
it felt
idea.
like like a box, like an old school boxing entrance. He just
Yeah,
me fucking beelining for the ring.
I've seen it on the periphery, and I feel like the biggest pizzazz that he's added throughout the years is my glove is red,
Yeah,
and I have this necklace that I pass on to Paul.
yeah.
That's the
Well,
biggest
and eventually he took
add-ons.
off the vest and revealed his chest. That was like a big part of it too.
Yeah, like he had the rocks surgeon come over and fix.
Sculpt a chest for him. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Samoans have
Yeah,
a hard time. They're a soft people. They're
man.
strong, but they got a soft protective layer over them.
Yeah, yeah. It is what it is. But yeah, the big entrance from Cody with the
Yeah,
skull
love the
mask.
mask. Very Triple H, which is funny
Yes.
when you think back on when he started AEW and he came out and he smashed the chair. Remember he smashed the throne. That was like
Yep.
one of the first big AEW things. So like to see him
Yep.
so very much back in the fold and almost like taking over that role himself
Yeah.
now is, like I said, the Cody story really works on me. It
It really
really
works.
very
Yeah.
cool. It's very impressive. His acumen for the business and his patience and his, you know what I mean? And like, I think it's great. I think it's really amazing. And like, I honestly think if he'd have lost, may, I, I may have been one of those annoying wrestling fans at that.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I don't think they. I really wish I was in the writers' room to see the pitches and to see if like somebody actually said, you know what? How
let's
about we don't
fuck them.
fuck
Let's
them?
fuck them.
They
And by
it's
fuck them, I mean the
obvious.
fans.
Yes, it's like probably somebody was like, it's too obvious. How about we fucking go to the left?
I thought it was a bold move to not pull the trigger on it last year,
Yeah, I
personally.
agree.
To have the balls to be like, no, in a year we will bet on everybody still being healthy and still being able to pull this off in another
Yeah.
year. Like,
No, and not only that, the pivot that we mentioned, like they pivot and it's like fuck it, all right,
yeah,
fuck it. Let's give it to them. Let's give it to them. They're driving us crazy. But yeah, the it's funny that you mentioned the AEW. Like that's the one. I that's the only like truly great piece of entertainment that they've put together. Like in terms of from start to finish.
yeah, that
That's
first show,
that first show. I remember watching that show and going like, "Fuck, I'm gonna have to be a wrestling fan again, like a day to day wrestling fan."
they're gonna do it. They're gonna get me
They're
back.
yeah. And then I saw the quality go, and I was like,
Yeah,
"No, damn that." But to the point, to your point, is like that entrance. I told the story to my wife, like him destroying the throne and all that stuff, and him fighting his brother and really cementing himself as like, you know, I am the roads, like I am the
honestly, even before the AEW stuff, one of my favorite parts of that story is that he just went to like small regional promotions
yeah.
and was like, "I'll wrestle anywhere. Like, I'll come to
Yeah,
your
he won
little like
the
small
NWA
town."
title.
Yeah, like he went all over the place and did like,
I saw,
and it was just like a big fish in a small pond for a while, and just went around and like lent his name and credence to like smaller promotions, which was very like again very cool. And he probably also scouted talent for AEW while he was doing that. Like
I saw a tweet. Obviously, when he was in the small region, yeah, this one. Cody Rhodes, Ric Flair, AJ Styles, and Buddy Rogers are the only ones to hold the NWA and WWE title. So
wow,
when he was doing the small regions, he won that title,
that's
and now
awesome.
he won the yeah. So that's a fun history.
I did have a
Um,
moment. Oh, speaking of like the writers' room and the screw, I did have a moment because they went out of their way to mention, because it's been part of the story the whole time, that Dusty almost won the title once and then ended up getting screwed out of it. There was like a,
yeah.
some kind of backstage thing and he ended up not getting it. And for a moment after the big win, when he called Triple H down, I was like, they're not gonna do
Oh
like
yeah,
some
yeah.
kind of like swerve where he can't get a
Uh,
choke. I was like, please, oh my god, please don't do it.
no, 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 no. But yeah,
Reminiscent of when Triple H made him take the belt back from Chris Jericho. Like,
yeah.
there was just so many different like vibes. But no, it was. We haven't talked too much about the match. The match is good. I mean,
It's solid, yeah.
Cody and Roman are, they're top of their game. They're top of the company for a reason. They're both excellent performers. Um, I really like Cody's style. A lot of energy, but a lot of technical skill as well.
Yeah, it's like a mixture of like new age and old school. There's a lot
Mhm.
of like the basics, the grounded movements, and then he'll jump off the rope and go like this, and you're like,
Yeah,
okay,
I
you
like
you
to have
can
the
move.
Cody Cutter. Oh, is that somehow different than the RKO? No, they're all the same. Oh no, I jump off the ropes when I do it. Well, he jumps off the ropes and does it sometimes because he hits it from anywhere.
He hits it from everywhere. Yeah, that's his superpower.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of good moments, and it was funny because obviously I'm enjoying the match and everybody's enjoying the match, but
Excuse me.
everybody knows, and obviously the fucking commentators won't shut the fuck up about it. Bloodline rules, bloodline rules. So
Run, run,
you,
run, Rose. I did like the moment where Cody pulled out the table and Roman put it away. When
yeah,
Roman took the table and put it back under the thing, he was like, "No, we're not doing that right
yeah.
now."
And
Like,
there was somebody under the I don't know which ones of the reveals. I think it was probably Jay, one of the Usos, or maybe the guy with the spike, because you can
yeah,
see a hand go
yeah.
like
Oh,
when the curtain when the curtain goes up and he screams, he's like, "No, don't see me." But yeah, yeah, I had a couple of fun moments. Definitely, like when it was just pure them wrestling, because like you said, they're
yeah.
good wrestlers. But it was like at the back of the head. Like even my wife, like with like 10 minutes in, she's like, "Is The Rock gonna come out?" It's like I was like,
Well, and
"Wait,
I'm glad, like, we'll talk about the way it actually went, but I was worried because there was, like, some chatter online, too, about another cousin who had got signed. I was like, is it just going to be a bloodline thing where, like,
yeah,
he's going to come out and the Usos and then, like, or are we going to get a little more variety?
yeah,
But again, a bloodline thing would have been cool if it meant that Dustin came out. I would have loved to have seen that. I would have loved
yes."
to see Gold Dust come out, or maybe him where he does the half makeup but do the half Gold Dust instead.
Yeah,
Like that would have been cool. Any of that would have been pretty rad.
I
But
legit
I
like
get
I
why you
legit
can't.
thought it was. No, yeah, he's signed with AEW. He's literally fighting Samoa Joe, I think, next weekend. So,
Yeah, which is a
um,
rad match too. By the way, that's awesome.
yeah, it was a fun match. But yeah, back of my head, I kept thinking, all right, when is this gonna become
Yeah, when's it gonna
The
pop off
Avengers?
here?
Yeah, the Avengers of cameos.
Yeah,
And
and
as
of course
soon
we
as
start out with the Usos.
the Usos, we got the traditional swing shit music. Oh, I want to say I mentioned something. I saw something very funny that the old heads were talking about how finishers are not worth anything anymore.
Yeah,
And I think it was a conversation between Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, and somebody else. I think Triple H. And Shawn Michaels says, "Well, I think I'm the one with the biggest gripe regarding finishers among us. It's because every fucking body does a
Oh,
signature
everybody does
music
a
now,
kick. Everybody
and it's
kicks.
worth nothing. It's worth
Yeah.
nothing in this industry anymore. But yeah, Jimmy, I know. Jimmy comes in, and then Jay comes down the ramp. They do their spot where uh, Jay gets speared through the tables. Then the other dude, I always forget his name with the
Oh,
thumb.
so yeah, Solo Sokoa, who's the dude who I'm
Solo.
like, you haven't again. I feel like you were doing the exact same thing with this guy a year ago. You got
Yeah,
nothing going on with this guy.
nothing.
Oh, I saw a clip. I told you I tried to watch a little bit of those like Road to WrestleMania things, and I couldn't really get through them. But I did watch a little bit of the one. It was like Seth Rollins. They're on Raw. He's in Roman's face, in the Bloodline's face, talking trash, talking about like you fight me, blah blah blah, and that fucking Solo Sikoa, like, you're not gonna fight the tribal chief, you're gonna fight me, and you should have heard the crowd die. They were like, boo! Like we went from almost seeing Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns to now we gotta watch this fucking chump. Like looks like a thumb fight.
Dude,
Like I don't.
and he hasn't won a single match. I think it's a running joke. I think he's
Oh yeah,
lost 40 matches in a row.
yeah,
Like
because
legitimately.
he's a guy who runs in and helps Roman cheat, but when it comes time to him to actually fight, he always loses. Like
Yeah, I think he beat John Cena, I wanna say, and he hasn't won since.
well, and they thought I feel like they thought that he was gonna be another Umaga, and it's just not catching on. Like
But that Fatu guy, have you seen his highlights?
no, I haven't seen him. It look good.
Dude, but I think that's gonna be huge. Honestly,
Good. I
like
hope so. I
watch
mean,
some of that. He's a big
I
big
feel like
dude
with
doing
the
big stuff.
Usos, and then with this some, I hope they have something for him. You know what I mean? Like I hope he's not just gonna come in and be part of the bloodline again. You know what I
Maybe
mean?
maybe
Like
he wants to take over the bloodline, and
yeah.
he has some heat between him and Roman, and he has to like take out everybody in the bloodline, and then gets
I
to
mean, like I
Roman.
said, if they've got something for him, I'd be all for it. I hope so.
Yeah,
Like,
I
but I
mean they
feel
gotta
like
give
they
something. They
clearly
gotta give something to
don't have
Roman.
anything for Solo Sokoa, and they keep just like treading water with him. He's just like
Yeah,
hanging around. Is let it go. I'm bored with this. I don't like this guy. And talk about a dude who stuck out like he didn't belong in the end of this match when you got all these legends running in. Like even the Usos at least have been some title. There was like some
yeah, yeah.
long running tag champs and shit, and they've had a big feud that culminated at WrestleMania. So like they feel like they belong to some
Yeah,
extent,
they
but
had a
like
story.
no
Yeah.
one stuck out like he didn't belong more than that dude. Like
No, yeah, and obviously it's part of the storyline and the writing, but like him telling Roman like finish it, and Roman's like, I know, shut the
yeah,
fuck up, and
yeah.
I think
Like I don't
everybody was
need
like,
you
yeah,
telling me, bitch.
yeah, shut this fucking asshole up.
No kidding.
So they do the spear and the thumb.
That
Talk
doesn't
about
keep
it,
him down.
and then fucking John Cena comes out of
John
nowhere.
Cena comes toddling out to the ring. Oh, don't trip over,
Uh,
don't tip over.
he drops Solo out, and then he does the FU, well, right? That's what his
F5.
F5 to Roman, and then he goes to the table, and then instantly regrets taking off his hat because as soon as he went like this, he started just
Ooh, my hair. Is my hair back over my bald spot?
shit,
Cover up my
shit,
bald
shit, shit,
spot.
shit. He did it like 20 times. Breaks a table. He does another F5 on the table, and then the fucking big boss comes down
Oh, here comes
with
the
his
Rock's music hits the final boss. And I love
with
that
his
no running
Toretto.
down to the ring for the Rock.
Oh no,
He
no,
ain't running down nowhere. He take
especially in
his
those
strut.
pants.
He's gonna strut.
In those pants, too much fabric. He would have tripped on those pants. Like those bell bottom.
Got the big
He
bell
looked like
bottoms
he looked like a matador
on.
on roids. But yeah, he takes out Cena and then starts beating up on Cody, and then the Shield music pops like you mentioned.
Yeah, which was a good, like I said, a good pop. More WWE historians read more into this. Him coming out actually in the Shield gear with the
Yep,
chair is more of a psychological attack on Roman to
yep,
remind him of this great betrayal. And apparently Roman, even in the ring, is like, "You did this to me. You broke. You made me this
yep.
way," which is cool. That's great stuff. That's really good,
Good
honestly.
writing. No, yeah,
Um,
and he also falls exactly like Roman did when he got the chair shot on the
yeah,
back. He falls on the bottom rope exactly like Roman did. So yeah, it's definitely very intentional, very storyline driven. The Shield appears. Roman stops him with a punch, and then he falls back. Um, and then Undertaker music hit,
yeah.
and
Dark. You get the lights drop out, and the Undertaker, the bells hit, and that's
yeah,
pretty great.
dude,
Now, to be
that was
fair,
the most nostalgic hit
I
because
would have loved to have seen the coat and the hat, though. I mean, if
yes,
we're
I
being
agree,
honest, if
I agree,
we all would have rather seen the coat and the hat,
I
right?
agree. I fully agree. They said we'll give you 100K to come to WrestleMania, and he's like, all right, fine, I'll go. And he's like, do you need a costume department? He's like, for 100K, I'm not putting that bullshit on again.
No,
Like
no,
I'm,
you get Biker Taker, you get Mark Calloway Taker. It's
yeah,
like
that's the most you're gonna get.
and
But
you
he was
get
like,
Rock barely being able to get his heavy ass up for a choke slam. Like, come on,
yeah,
jump, motherfucker! You can get up a little higher than that.
dude, fucking Undertaker like felt that weight. It's like,
Dwayne
but
weighing in at 280.
I think he's easily in 300.
He's
Easily,
huge.
he's huge. Like the thing is, like obviously everything is perspective. Like when you see like Arnold standing next to Ender the Giant and
Yeah,
or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you go like, damn, Arnold is like a tiny motherfucker. Roman is a huge individual. When
yeah,
he was standing next to The Rock, especially his back, I was
yeah.
like, damn, he's huge. He's truly big.
Yeah. Oh, you know who else I felt that way about? We were talking about the dudes. It's Randy Orton. You forget how much taller Randy Orton is than a lot of those guys. Because like
Yes.
that's what I was telling Harrison. It's like wrestling perspective is hard. I always used to think Scott Hall wasn't that big, but he's
Yeah.
like 6'7". He's just always standing next to Kevin Nash. He's huge.
Yeah.
Scott
Yeah,
Hall was
he's
a
huge.
monster. Like, and the same thing goes for all these guys. And like you forget until you see them. And like I was like, God, they're all milling around at the end celebrating and stuff. I was like, God damn, that Randy Orton's a big bastard.
That's why Vince Vaughn looks so fucking huge because everybody in Hollywood is tiny. And
Yeah.
suddenly he's walking
If you're
around
like
six
6'1",
four,
you're
six
a
five.
giant. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Undertaker comes out and then they sell it. He's always had Yokozuna. He fought with Rock. He also fought with Roman. So it made sense story
He had one of
wise.
the worst matches of his career with Roman.
Yeah, it made sense story wise why he would want to fuck with the bloodline. And then Cody,
Also, he's the king of WrestleMania. You have the final boss of
yeah,
WrestleMania showing up to take out the final boss. Like,
yeah.
there's nobody who's more WrestleMania than The
I don't
Undertaker.
know if you ever heard, like he's never lost in WrestleMania ever. Like
That's not true. He did finally
nope,
lose.
he's unbeaten. He never lost. Name the wrestler that
Um,
he lost to.
but then I do like to. He didn't
Wait,
like.
wait,
Cody
wait, wait,
doesn't win off of
wait, wait,
like.
wait.
Oh no, go ahead.
Brian, who did he lost to?
He lost to Brock Lesnar.
Who? I don't know who you're talking
oh,
about.
oh yeah, I forgot that guy doesn't exist
I
anymore.
don't know who that is.
He got human trafficked out of the WWE.
Yeah, perfect 17-0, baby.
yeah,
Never
yeah,
happened.
never happened. Um, I yeah, we Cody gets he doesn't have to win off of the back of someone else's work. He gets to do the triple crossroads that we talked
Yeah,
about earlier.
and he started doing this in the third one. He started doing
Oh yeah,
like
he's
this.
shaking, he's shaking. I do like that the bionic elbow is part of Cody's repertoire because he does the little.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, that was a nice trivia. That was a nice trivia.
I always love the bionic elbow makes an appearance. But yeah, Cody gets the win, and then it's all the guys who are already out there. A bunch of the faces from the back come out and
Yeah,
celebrate and lift him up. And the story's finished. He calls out Bruce Pritchard and Triple H to
yeah,
celebrate with him, and it was very emotional.
that was very nice.
it was a very
And his mom and
it
his
was as big a
sister.
WrestleMania moment as anyone's ever had.
No, yeah, it was a nice end cap. Um, kind of like letting him. I wish he talked a little bit more, but basically he just said, "I want Triple H out here." I was like, all right,
Yeah,
man. That's why you're asking for the mic. But he's paying flowers. Like I know that. I mean, it seems like the Hunter is like a very business forward individual, and he's
Hmm.
not letting his feelings get in the way because CM Punk also said the same thing. Like he thought he could never work again in that company because the bridges that he burned with Hunter, and Cody really burned a bridge with Hunter. But he brought him back, and
But I also think there's a level of respect there. I think had
yeah,
Cody done that and gone off and fell flat on his face, yeah, he wouldn't be back right now. But he
oh yeah,
didn't. He went out and he succeeded and he prospered and he made himself the world's one of the world's biggest wrestling commodities. You can't deny that. So
it's
like
so wild though. It's so wild because towards the end, the fans of AEW turned on him, and his storylines start to falter. And that's why he was like, you know what, fuck it, I don't want to be here anymore.
right,
I'm
perfect
wasting my
timing, just
time.
get out. Yeah.
And when he went over to WWE, the general consensus, at least from that camp, was like, you're just gonna be a big, small fish in a big pond, and you're gonna get lost in the shuffle again, like you did before. So he proved everybody fucking wrong. So that kind of adds to the element of
I don't
his
know if you
storyline.
now I know we've talked obviously this whole series has been about WWE documentaries and
Yeah,
the kind of shine of falseness they can put over things and the
yeah.
business. But if you watch the American Nightmare doc that was on Peacock, they did before last year's WrestleMania, they kind of chronicled all this. Um, they do say that like Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard like flew to his house. They went to him to pick when
Mm,
it was time to like so like they knew what he was, they knew what they clearly like you like the speculation that he was going to be in the mid card or whatever or languish. I don't think that was ever the case. I think they were like, no, you proved us wrong, you've got it, and we're ready, we're sorry, and we're ready, like we'll do it, like.
no, yeah.
And I
I
like
think it
and
was
that's
more.
like I said, the story really worked for me, and I think that part that's why, because it's the risks that Cody took. I mean, he put his career on the line several different times, and
Yeah,
he just kept nailing it and getting lucky, and it's fucking impressive to be quite honest with you. In the
oh
annals
yeah,
of
yeah.
the wrestling business, it's gonna be remembered, you know.
Oh yeah, obviously, like we know it's fake and all that shit, but creating a momentum and a obviously you have to be a great wrestler, you have to be a professional, you have to protect the partner you're with in the wrestling ring and earn that respect. But creating an undeniable momentum
Mhm.
with the fans, with the storylines that you've built, with the writing, with the creativity, with your promos, with your outfits, even though you have a shitty tattoo,
That
it's
tattoo,
it's
what a
the worst
choice!
tattoo.
Boy, talk about going all in. Oof.
Yeah, that's um it truly takes a certain individual to reach those ranks, and it can't be denied. Like you're saying, like it's gonna be one of those storylines where you go like one of those wrestlers, sorry, that you go like fuck. That's one of a few that truly can build that type of momentum that pushes you. I mean, it can't be on like I can't keep cannot emphasize more. The Rock really wanted to steal his thunder, and he could not.
Yeah,
That's how big the
yeah,
momentum was behind him.
yeah, yeah. And God bless it. Good for him. And man, thank you for doing this with me. This has been a lot of fun. I know that you have been taking a little break to
Call me John Cena, baby.
pull
Just
back, but
like
he'll come. You know, when the call goes out, this man will hobble down to the ring and jump in and do a podcast with me. He'll pick up a steel chair and he'll open it and sit down in it and get his mic out.
yeah. Come in, pull my back, and just sit in the corner like Vince McMahon.
I blew out my quads. No,
All
but this has
right.
been a lot of fun. This has been a great series. We love
Yeah.
wrestling. We love talking about it. It's been
Oh
fun to kind
yeah.
of visit some of these historical kind of relics of the biz and kind of talk about our times and what we enjoyed. And it was fun to check out the new stuff and see where the biz is at right now and talk about
Yeah.
that a little bit too. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody who watched any of these, and I hope they liked them. And you can find us both out there on the Twitters if you need to. Jusef will lay in our information here probably. And maybe this might not be the last flying elbow drop of film. We could come back again someday, but this will be the end of our
Retired.
current run, and I just appreciate everybody being here with us. So thanks, guys.
I'm retired.
Love you. I'm retired. But wrestling.